Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of the Civil Canadians. I am Scotty V. Now this weekend is going to be Spider-Man related. So if you saw my Instagram and my Facebook post and my Twitter post, you will see that it's going to be a Spider-Man filled weekend. So today I'm going to be ranking all the Spider-Man movie villains, how I think they felt in my list, and tomorrow I'm going to be ranking the actors, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland. And then Monday, because it's Canada Day here, so to all our civil Canadian fans, that's just a special video for you guys, actually, because it's Canadian. It's Canada Day. We're celebrating Canada because this is a great country. All right, let's get on with the list. Yes, I'm wearing my Champions hat, Toronto Raptors. Congratulations once again. So let's go down the list. I'm going from worst to best. And number 1 or number 8, whatever, the Rhino. When I heard Paul Giamatti was cast as the Rhino, I was like, oh, okay, he might be a good Rhino. But they were going with the ultimate version when he had the mechanical suit. That was a total flop. He was just there. He was there in the beginning of the movie stealing plutonium, I believe it was. I don't even know what the hell they were stealing. And then he showed up at the end. You know that part in the Amazing Spider-Man trailer where Spider-Man jumps from the explosion and hits him and then it cuts to blank? That was the end of the movie. That was the bloody end of the movie. I was so pissed. I was like, are you kidding me? You hype up that scene just to end it there. Why? So that's why Rhino is the worst so far. Next, we get the Green Goblin from the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Dave DeHaan, I think, was casted as the Green Goblin, Harry Osborn. Total waste. We did not need to see another Green Goblin. We really had a Green Goblin. That was in 3 Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire. You got him in the original with William Dafoe. Then you get him kind of, sort of, in Spider-Man 2, but in like a reflection to Harry Osborn. And in the third one, Harry does become the Green Goblin or New Goblin, whatever they called it. I don't know what the official, I think it was New Goblin. So that was probably the worst Green Goblin out of this list. So the next one we have is Electro. Electro was a total waste. Jamie Foxx was the worst possible casting for Electro. He didn't fit the role. He was very underdeveloped, and he really idolized Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man forgot and he went psycho. I don't think that's how Electro went bad, but I could be wrong. I never followed Electro. Electro was not my favorite villain. So Electro was really underperforming. They went with the ultimate version as well, so they made him blue. I was fine with him being blue. I did not like the actor. I do not like Jamie Foxx. I do not like him at all. He was the worst cast for a Spider-Man villain. Like I said, underdeveloped. I didn't like him. He just kind of was like forced to be in there. All right, the next one we have the Lizard for the Amazing Spider-Man, the original. Now he was a better villain than Electro. I can tell you that as a fact, just because he had a backstory to Spider-Man. He worked with Peter Parker's father, and then Kirk Connors was kind of like a mentor to Peter, and then he was trying to. Connors was trying to grow out his arm. He grew his arm, but he turned himself into a lizard. He wanted to turn the whole city into lizards. That made more sense. So that was a better villain. I thought Amazing Spider-Man 1 had a better villain than the Amazing Spider-Man 2, because Amazing Spider-Man 2 was trying to world build for the Spider-Man universe and to create their own Sinister Six. Well, that didn't work out good for you, Sony did it. You worked out better. You had a better deal with Marvel. You made a smart move on that one. All right, so the next one, which was a big disappointment for many fans, including me, now that I look back on that movie. When I first saw it in 2007, I was 14 years old. So when I saw Venom, I was like, Venom, holy crap, it's Venom. I can't wait to see Venom kick some ass. Recently, I went back to it like a year ago or so. I'm like, Venom was so garbage. It was cast, Topher Grace was cast as Venom, Eddie Brock. Why? Out of all actors, you choose Topher Grace. I know Venom should have been more down on the list, but like Topher Grace, like, no. I see him like maybe like another reporter in the Daily Bugle, but Venom, he his acting was off with Venom. He didn't look like Venom. He just weird teeth growing out after the symbiote went to him. That was weird. I did not. When I saw it originally in '07, when I was 14 years old, I loved it. I thought it was the best Spider-Man movie in the whole world. But let me tell you right now, and it's not. I don't know what I was thinking as a 14-year-old kid who loved Venom, and I got Venom toys too when the merchandise was coming out. I don't know where all my toys are now. I think they're all in the garbage because I'm too big for toys. Anyways, the next villain I have Sandman. Sandman was originally supposed to be the main villain for Spider-Man 3, but because Avi Arad and all those other mindless people in Sony, like, yeah, people want Venom, shove Venom in the movie. When Sam Raimi had his own plans for Venom, so you rush Venom, that's what you get. What I heard was they wanted to have Spider-Man fight Sandman and all that kind of stuff, have a final battle, and then have Spider-Man go to the church, get rid of the symbiote, and it falls on Eddie Brock, and movie ends there, and then pick up from that moment on in Spider-Man 4, and then you could do a Mysterio like they originally had in Vulture. That would have been a better idea, but Sony is Sony, whatever. The next one I have on my list, now these are the top 3 villains of my list. So we got the Green Goblin, which I spoke earlier about, but this time this Green Goblin I'm talking about is William Dafoe's Green Goblin from the original Spider-Man movie. It was great. When I first saw him in the theater, I was literally scared out of my mind with those yellow eyes and that weird bodysuit. I was scared. And when he was at the parade and he threw the pumpkin bombs and people turned to skeletons, that scared the living crap out of me. I couldn't believe it. They did Spider-Man. I think a lot of people were waiting for Spider-Man. People were waiting so many years for Spider-Man. I know at one point James Cameron was supposed to do a version of Spider-Man, but he never ended up doing it. But yeah, William Dafoe's Green Goblin was much more developed than the Amazing Spider-Man 2's Green Goblin. He had a backstory. He was obviously the best friend's father of Peter Parker. And obviously, spoiler, if you haven't seen it, it's been like freaking 20 years already. Spider-Man and Goblin fought. Green Goblin killed himself because he didn't know Spider-Man had spider sense. Duh. And that's it. Much more developed villain. Scary William Dafoe does have that face for a scary villain. And it just worked. For its time, it worked. I loved it. The next one I was kind of going back and forth with this one. I'm going to go with number 8 as the Vulture. Just because Michael Keaton as the Vulture, former Batman, he was great. The twist we got in Homecoming that the Vulture is Liz's father, and just the fact that the Vulture was just like one of us. Adrian Toomes, working, he had a contract with the city, cleaning up the mess of the Avengers. Life was good, making money, worked great until Damage Control came in, said, hey, you know what? The Avengers caused this. We're going to take over it. We're going to clean it up. And then obviously that drives someone crazy because you're taking their business away, even though they had to sit with the contract. But I guess Damage Control bought out the contract and he went cuckoo. And he still had some materials from other cleanups, in which he made his Vulture suit, started stealing from Damage Control, which made it more realistic for today's world. And number 1, obviously, Dr. Octopus, Spider-Man 2. To this day, Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire is my favorite Spider-Man movie. I have not seen Homecoming. I have not seen Spider-Man Far From Home yet. So when I do see it, I'm going to do a ranked for all the Spider-Man movies. I'm pretty sure by this list, you're kind of going to have the idea where I rank all the Spider-Man movies. But in that Spider-Man movie, I will rank the Into the Spider-Verse 2. So the animated movie will be included in that list, which is not included in this list because this is live action, not cartoon. So yeah, Dr. Octopus is my number 1 just because Alfred Molina played off. He created Dr. Octopus like how we thought he would be in our heads, right? He was loving to his wife. He's a mentor to Peter. He's creating like a solar energy to create power, unlimited power for the world. But obviously something went wrong. His wife gets killed by glass, the magnetic glass shattering and hitting Dr. Octopus's wife. She dies, and then as he turns around, his little chip in his head kind of fries him, and the mechanical arms fuse onto his body. Can't get it out, and yeah, and then he going back with Peter Parker. The fight scenes were amazing. The CGI at the time was great, 2004. So yeah, there's my list. So I have the worst to the best. So Rhino being the worst, and Doctor Octopus being the best. All right, guys. If you guys like this episode of the Civil Canadians, make sure you hit a like, share, subscribe. And if you're a gamer and you're watching this channel, head over to my Civil Canadians gaming channel, which I have up there. You can find it in the featured channel on this channel as well. The featured section on this channel. And yeah, see you soon. Be good. See you tomorrow.